Hari Om, Namaste. So thank you, Gunaji, for that introduction, and I hope I can do my best to come true on your expectations. I'll try my best, I can promise that. So, as far as HOTA Forum is concerned, I'd like to present my personal view and my experience over the last couple of years in Australia running HOTA Forum, which is around 12 years. And I believe that we as Hindu community are at significant crossroad. This is not one of those crossroads that you can tick off by making a decision whether to go right or left. I call it a generational crossroad. Our Hindu religion, our culture, our values are under existential threat. We have already lost so much of knowledge, temples, lands, and even faith, that whatever we don't do individually or collectively, will shape the future of Hindu Dharma. Hindus in future will look back and judge us, especially the Hindu institutions, that what were we doing while our ancient and the only surviving religion was facing this threat. If Hindu Dharma is a proverbial Titanic, we all know that it is heading towards a hidden iceberg. And if we don't act now, there won't be much left. Therefore, the responsibility on Hindu organizations, temples and associations is to at least start contemplating where we are heading and what can we do to protect what we can. Although I'm here preaching to the converted, you all are here because you already believe and you understand the scenario. And you are keen to protect it both from internal and external threats. However, I would like to still present a case study to demonstrate the benefits of the HOTA Forum that had been espoused by Swami Vivekananda ji, and why do we need to work together, and that too in an organized way. I've been working with the South Australian community since 2012. In 2017, October, Swami Vivekananda ji was in Australia and we had the Australian National Hindu Conference, the 6th one, and we launched HOTA Forum. So 2017 is when my tryst with HOTA Forum started. At that conference, we had 27 organizations, Hindu organizations that came together. Today, we have 86 Hindu organizations. Thank you. And these organizations identify themselves as Hindu organizations, and more importantly, they are working together. That is the first benefit, which is the numerical collective strength. Now, you'll wonder, why did I say identifying as Hindu organizations? We all know that most fashionable thing to say today is, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious, and I believe in humanity. Interestingly, it's not only Hindus who are affected by what I call is a cataract or a psychological illusion, that they suddenly start thinking that by saying things like these, they are instantly elevated to a position of a realized soul. But even organizations suffer from this disease. So in South Australia, we initially brought together temples and organizations which had Hindu in their name. Sadly, some Hindu temples in South Australia did not join HOTA Forum because they had this false fear that by joining a group which has the word Hindu will affect their credibility. Imagine the extent of disillusionment and loss of confidence in our community, that not only individuals but also temples that are sacred, they are scared to identify themselves as Hindu organizations or as Hindus. Now these temples have Hindus in their name because when they were formed, the individuals that came together were proud and wanted to bring the community together to practice their faith. However, within 60 years, I would say, the community has lost their ability to identify themselves correctly. We recently have a new temple in South Australia which has come up, and they purchased an old church which is very popular in Adelaide. It's called a City of Churches. And this temple is operational, but the committee has retained, there's a cross on top of the church. They refuse to remove it. And they said to me that, oh, we kept it so that we can attract more people and we appear more secular. And I said to them, it's not only misleading to both Christians, but also to Hindus. If it says cross on top, it should be a church. So what are you trying to say? And what would people perceive about us? There are temples which have placed a cross between Devis and Devatas and their murtis. So when even temples which are proverbial, a lighthouse for our culture, are slowly losing touch with the reality, you know why Hindus are getting lost. Now, this was only temples. Extrapolated to the language-based organization, Telugu, Kannada, Tamil. They all are slowly being reluctant to practice their own faith. We all have non-religious in Australia. Pongal, non-religious Vishukanni, non-religious Sankranti, and they're all doing that so that they think we're celebrating the festival, but we're not celebrating the faith. So in the smallest state in Australia, through HOTA Forum, we have brought together 86 organizations, as I said, and that is a 300% increase in 6 years. Thank you. But in addition to that, joining HOTA Forum has become a stamp of approval of quality. And so much so, there are 2 individuals currently in South Australia that are threatening me personally with a defamation suit because I'm not allowing them to join HOTA Forum. So, can you imagine? So this is the way we have taken HOTA Forum, that people want to join HOTA Forum, but we restrict the quality, that if you are not actually practicing the faith, if you're not looking after the community, if you are running a commercial organization, we won't let you in. But that kind of is just, I always say, if people are criticizing you, that means you're doing something right. Thank you. But majority of them should praise you. It should not be the other way around. So our political reach as a collective Hindu community has also grown. So we used to have 0 councillors in the last election in 2019. Today we have 6 Hindu councillors in South Australia. And last year, a Hindu died. He was a Telugu Hindu. We raised $100,000 and more than that in less than 6 days. Because what we are saying is, when a Hindu dies, or anyone dies, it's a human being. It's a community member. It's not the responsibility of the Telugu community. Or if a Gujarati dies, it's not a Gujarati. It's an Australian. It's a human being. But individually, none of the organizations, at least in Australia, are as big as we are together. And that is the idea that we are trying to espouse. And government is also now recognizing every temple and association. One of the few questions, we have a Minister for Multicultural Affairs in Australia, and she sees me, and we have an organization that I introduce, and they say, oh, are they part of HOTA Forum? So that is the first question she asks. So that means she's actually looking at it as a stamp of approval that, oh, they are part of a bigger conglomerate. For example, if I say I'm an accountant, you'll say, hang on, are you a CPA? What is CPA? It's a professional body. If I say I'm a lawyer, which bar council? Which court are you practicing in? And that kind of attests some quality. If I say Delhi High Court, you'll say, okay, fair enough. Or Supreme Court, even higher. So I think HOTA Forum is close to being Supreme Court now. Not that we have, but it's not like the judges that we have there, but we are better. And also, more Hindus are now attending temples because the temple committees are sharing resources and ideas. I just had a meeting with we have a panel discussion tomorrow afternoon with the local Hindu organizations, and there were Vishnu Temple and one more temple which I'm forgetting, and they both met together. And Vishnu Temple said that, oh, we have a lot of Thai people attending our temples, but because when they come, they don't know how to offer flower, what to do, they feel lost, and then they don't come back. So what we've done is, Tiwari was there, they said, oh, we have printed pamphlets about what the process to follow. And I said, okay, why don't you share it with the other temple? And the other temple can actually look at it, give feedback, and then give it to me, and I'll share it with temples in Australia. And that is the whole framework of HOTA Forum. This is one of the biggest discoveries in my lifetime, that organizations thought that, if we incorporate religion, if the Hindu organization think, if I incorporate a religion into my committee or my organization, I'll lose numbers. Can you imagine how? So Swamiji always says that we are so oppressed that we have lost any confidence in our own entity. Whereas they forget that when dharmo rakshati rakshataha. So if you protect the dharma, dharma looks after you. And that's what I've seen in Australia, at least. That's my own laboratory. Not a scientist like Gunaji, but we have our own social laboratory wherein we see what changes we have done. And the moment these organizations that I've said to you, they were organizing Garba, which was more like a party Garba, they started having a religious Garba, their numbers increased. But the proof is in the pudding. You need to have that confidence. If you don't put us, and as an organization, I don't mean individually, as an organization we have to be confident enough to put our best foot forward, be very clear about who we are. If we are not clear about who we are, how would we communicate to the other person? And we are very inclusive. We are very inclusive. We don't have to say that. Again, the reason I'm saying this to all of you is because we have to go out and share this with the others and bring them around. And because they don't realize there are people who actually look up to us. So I can't tell you, there are so many people who come to me. So we run a monthly lunch program for the broader community. There's a Christian who's gay. And we've been serving him for many years. He came to me, I think 3 months ago, and he said, "Can I talk to you for a second?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Do you do funerals?" So I'm also a funeral director in Australia. And he said, "Oh, I want you to look after my funeral and take my ashes to India." And I said, "Look, I can organize your funeral, but I don't know whether I can take your ashes to India." But he said, "Look, I want to tell you I'm gay. Do you have any problems with that?" I said, "No." He hugged me and he cried. And I told him that in the last 8 years of my service to the community, this is the best thing I've ever felt, that actually I'm connecting with people. Now, we're not trying to convert him, but he believes that cremating is something that he wants to do. And he says that my family has disowned me. So he's looking for a shoulder to lean on. And I think it will be so sad that there are people out there who can benefit from our passion and compassion, but we are not open to them. How will they come to us? If I'm selling juice and I say I'm selling tires, people who need juice won't come to me. So let us put a right logo in front of our shop saying that this is what we do. And let everyone who wants it come to us. How am I doing for time? 2 minutes? Okay. Sorry, I went overboard. I'll stick to my script now. Okay. Now, we still have a long way to go, but suffice to say that this proves that when we are proud of what we are and we express ourselves correctly and confidently, the organizational success will be ours. And especially when we give this advice to our young children. So most of us are parents, and we would say the same thing to our kids. Be yourself. Be confident in what you do, and the success will come to you. So why are we lying as an organization that, oh, I'm secular, oh, I believe in humanity, and I believe in spirituality, but I'm not a Hindu. So this is the change of thought process that we have to bring in, and success will come. And I'm a living proof of that. If it doesn't work, come to me, I'll return the money. Or not the registration fees. Okay, so to remind ourselves of the work that has to be done, and so we spoke about the external and internal threat. So this conference, in this World Hindu Congress, we put together a collection of, Swamiji calls them the Hindu Kshatriyas, the intellectual Kshatriyas, who are actually fighting this battle as we speak. So while we sit cozily in our drawing rooms watching Netflix and criticizing, how recently India lost the cricket match, the World Cup, and we all sat there, oh, they should have done that. It's easier said than done. What I want you to take through this is what can we do to support the people who are actually fighting the battle. Thank you. And it's not about, so there are things, so for example, what Vishnu Jain is doing, we can't do that. But the least we can do is to spread the word and take lessons from what he is doing and identify similar smaller projects which we can work on. So Anand ji will talk about the temples that he's preserving. And that is an equally valuable venture. We should not shy away from doing that. But the community needs your support, both morally. If you can't say anything good, don't say anything bad. Don't criticize each other. Work collaboratively. And try to look beyond the differences of languages. So I'll just quickly go through the sessions if we can. So the sessions, so yes, there is a bit of history. So 2018. Yes. So we have, this is the third World Hindu Congress, as Gunaji has said earlier. So as you can see on the screen, we had, can you go through them quickly? So different themes that were there in different congresses. So 2023 is about, there are 6 sessions. So this is a sneak peek of what's coming through of the agenda. The first session that will happen now, will be talking about liberating Hindu temples and land from the government and church control. The session 2 will be upholding the Hindu values and sanskaras. What can organizations do to achieve that? And the third session will be how can we reach the unreached areas. So we'll be talking about Central Asia, Africa, and Europe. And also, we'll talk about Hindu human rights. So we have Narada Adhikari, the Bhutanese Hindus. What is happening just around the corner from India? We are totally blinded to those kind of facts. And what can we do? So the speakers will talk about what actions can we take. This 5th session will be encouraging Hindu activism, which I spoke about. That what can we do to support the warriors that are already leading the charge. And the last session, as I said, will be more like a case study with 6 organizations from Thailand, the community organization that have never collaborated before. We'll bring them around, have a panel discussion, and give you a live demonstration of how we can collaborate and come together. It is actually a practical experience that is going to happen in front of you. Thank you so much. Hari Om.